going to be doing is looking at historical buildings in the Fishtown neighborhood, which is actually Kensington. This little baby Washington monument is the location where the great elm once stood. It is said that William Penn and the Lenape Indian, their treaty was signed right here. This is one of the first historical monuments made in the city of Philadelphia. It was erected in the early 1800s. The tree that stood here was blown down during a really bad storm. So when the tree was blown down, everyone in the area came down to either get like a little piece of the tree or just to take a look at it. Benjamin Rush, who signed the Declaration of Independence, he actually got a chair carved out of that tree. I wonder where that chair is. I would love to see it. I've been coming to this park my entire life, and I always thought this was like a headstone for like a war. I didn't know this was the spot of, the spot where Pennsylvania was founded. This statue of William Penn was put in Penn Treaty Park in 1982. Around that statue of William Penn, there are all these bronze plaques that tell the history of the great elm. It talks about the buildings that were in the park before it was a park. There was a big mansion here. Palmer Cemetery. I think his name was Anthony Palmer. He had a mansion though. If it's your first video of mine that you've seen and you're wondering, why is this lunatic throwing around a bike? It's been a problem for the past few weeks now. I highly recommend you see my angry bike review. This is the Kensington Methodist Episcopal Church. Boy, that's a lot. This is the oldest Methodist church in the United States that's in continuous use. So this entire block of Richmond Street has some pretty old buildings. And I've been on this street several times. I never even noticed them. This building here is an old firehouse. And you see that little cement block in the middle right there? It says instituted May 20th, 1791. And this building next to it is one of the oldest buildings in the entire Kensington, Fishtown area. And I would also like to point out Flemish Bond in Fishtown. And it's for sale. So if you want to own one of the oldest houses in Fishtown, check it out. It's on Richmond Street. Oh my God, look at, it's like if Oprah Winfrey was walking around Fishtown and she said, "You get Flemish Bond. You get Flemish Bond." Oh, look at this garage. "You get Flemish Bond. You get aluminum siding." Fishtown has always been a working class neighborhood. What's now known as the Fishtown Brew Pubs used to be a hosiery factory. I think from like this bike shop down, all used to be an elevator factory that opened in the late 1800s. The nickname Fishtown probably came from the shad fish that people, like those fish factories, and it's right there on the water, so that makes sense. There's a rumor that Charles Dickens, the guy who wrote A Christmas Carol, and he wrote other things though. I only know Christmas Carol, and it was rumored that he may have given the nickname. He has a lot of history of Philadelphia with Charles Dickens. The bank at Frankfurt and Girard was built in 1877. It was called the Kensington National Bank. It had the same architect as the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts. Joe's Steakhouse used to be a Mediterranean diner. And across the street, garage used to be like a corner grocery store, but like a really big one. And I think it was called Penn Treaty Market. That little cement plaque up there says public bath. In the late 1800s, swimming became a popular sport due to the Olympics. So in the early 1900s, people wanted to go swimming. And what the city did was they built these indoor swimming pools, and they called them public baths. Governments thought that it was a great way to promote hygiene, was having these public pools. It was said that 300,000 people a year would use this as a pool, and it was mostly the young boys of the Kensington, Fishtown area that went good. If you're ready to take a pole dancing class, they got them right here in Fishtown, the Pole Studio. This is the old St. Mary's Hospital. So in 1855, St. John Newman gave 3 nuns a bunch of money. They were supposed to use that money to help the sick and poor of Kensington. So they built this hospital. It was run by nuns. The first brain tumor removal surgery was in this hospital. It closed down I think in the early 2000s. This became like a senior home, which it is still today. Not that I believe in saints and all that stuff, but yeah, a saint made that building, sort of, or was involved in some. I never saw this before. Look at this. Danger. Keep out. L&I. This is, I think it's St. Laurentius in Fishtown. It's at Memphis and Berks. It closed down in 2010. The developer who owns it, he put in an application for demolition. It was said that, you see the L&I signs. The building's not safe. If you look, there's netting on the towers. I'm going to be allowed to go inside here real quick. Oregon. These paintings are absolutely beautiful. And even the archways, you can see the windows. Look, they still have the Dixie cups. These are the steps that you use to go up the tower. Almost a ladder, but they qualify as steps. And this is the bell inside the bell tower. There's a bell here, a bell here. Oh, wow. So this was the first Polish church in Philadelphia. But this is one of the old church hymnals from 2010. Wow. They still have the stuff from the church bulletin up from when it closed. Look at that. They still have the kneelers. That's crazy. Oh, they got confessionals? Oh, look at that. Oh, boy. Non-Catholics, let me explain to you how this works. When that light's lit, that means the priest is in there. And then you tell the guy sitting there everything bad you did. And then he tells you to say 3 Hail Marys, and you get to go to heaven.
Until the next thing.
Right. Yeah. Until you go across the street and stub your toe and say shit, and you got to go back to church. I don't know. After being in there, it's a beautiful building, and I really appreciate the opportunity I was getting inside there. There's nothing really. What do you do with a church? There was a few inspectors that went in there. It said the building's not safe. Neighbors from across the street are excited to see it go because it's just an abandoned building. So,
Here we are, Palmer Cemetery.
It's a mixture of old and new headstones. And this cemetery is so crowded, when they look for a spot to bury people, they have to check with a long pole to make sure there's open space to bury somebody. So I saw an article, and I don't know how true this is, but I think that if you live in Fishtown and you don't have money to afford a burial, this cemetery will work with you or your family. Not you, because you're dead. What are you going to do? Nothing. Just lay there. But your family can work with them, and they can get you a plot as long as they can fit the stick in there to get a spot to bury you in. Well, that's it. That's my trip to Fishtown. We got to go inside an abandoned church. Well, it's not abandoned. I went in with the owner, so that's something. We saw the spot where Pennsylvania became a state. We saw some really old houses, and of course, we saw some Flemish bond. I got rid of the piece of shit Johnson for a while. He's going to get fixed up. And all in all, it was a pretty good day. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Smash that like button. And if you want to see more of my content, hit subscribe. If you're watching this video and there's a spot at Fishtown that I did not go to, and I know there's a lot of them, leave a comment below, and maybe I'll get to it in my next video. If you need a t-shirt, don't forget to check out my merch. My merch is fire. The best way to help the channel is to check out my Patreon page. $5 or $10 a month will get you a postcard from any location, plus some bonus videos. I just realized this is my doctor's office from when I was a kid. So make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll sail with you later. Toodles!